Hey guys, wanted to discuss a deal with you. It was one that I was working on before and then fell apart because the bank wouldn't agree to terms. But now they've come back, which I figured would happen. It would just take time. Here it is, a highly dense populated area on Route 3, Plank Road. This is the actual property right here. This one right here was just picked off, I guess. You can see somebody's developing it. But you got Wendy's, Starbucks, Sonic, Verizon. Everybody's down here. This is the particular site that I'm looking at. Um, Actually, this is the guy who was developing it went under. I guess he was holding the land for way too long and eventually went bankrupt or whatever. But Burger King was about to sign on the dotted line, and then they bailed on the deal because he went bankrupt. So it's a bank-owned property right now. But I just want to quickly show you. So that's a high level of where it's at. How this works because probably just get lost in the numbers. Essentially, it just works from the top down. All these numbers, for example, this pulls from the income statement page, which this is a triple net property, so there's really nothing to it. You would only have accounting. Essentially, this is built for also doing analysis on apartments. That's why it has all these line items. But essentially, that's the going rate, about $22 a foot. So that gives you your gross or your net income, and then property values. I'm just using the next door neighbor, whatever, for the sake of this analysis. But typical O'Reilly's Auto Parts, which is literally right next door. It's this one right. It's this one right here, actually. Cap rates are 5.6%. So I just cranked it up a little bit, 5.9. It makes it worse for the developer. So that gives you your value of your property after you're done with it or whatever. And then soft costs, site development, building costs, all derived from here. These are actual costs that I continuously saw, and these are just the soft costs. So anyway, that pulls from the soft costs. And then you had site development, which I think this number's fat. So this value on the spread is right now it's 360,000. It's going to go up, I think, significantly. When you look at this, this is a pad site, right? A straight pad site. That there's literally nothing to do. The utilities are running in the back here for stormwater management. Electric is running in the front. There's literally no work to do. It's the ground is good. But what I was going to show you was this is an actual Dollar General I was doing. This is a GC. This actual budget was 200K, but this is raw land. So this guy had to knock down forests, level it out, export dirt, import dirt, and still could do it for 200,000. I think his number's low. When I actually do the analysis on this specific property, I just did pretty quick numbers here, but this breaks down what I think are the actual costs from sediment controls. There's no demolition in the property, site clearing is nothing, earthwork is nothing, but you're going to have to tie into sanitary, water, stormwater management a little bit, electrical conduits. I did some takeoffs for the property adjoining, which is where I pulled the paving number, landscaping. Obviously, you need a trash enclosure. I think the real number is probably around 300,000. So I still think it's fat. I even put some contingency on top of that. So even if I was carrying a high number, I mean, if you think about it, he can do it for 212,000. If I'm carrying 240, we've still got significant fluff in there. Last thing is the building costs. This is just pretty straightforward. After you've seen these numbers 100 times, it's the same thing. It's just around 700,000 for a typical build a suit for one of these retailers where there's almost nothing in the store, a Dollar General, Advanced Auto, O'Reilly's, any of those guys. There's nothing to those stores. There's just essentially a corn shell, a little bit of electric HVAC, and a couple walls and a bathroom. There's nothing. So they range from about 650 to 750. So we'll just put it at 600, and I just threw in an extra 5% contingency. So when you do all that, capital required is right there. And what I did was just figure out what's the spread on this from the property value if you were to dispose of it and sell it on a 1031 exchange or whatever. The actual spread from the property value to the actual cost is about 360,000. And obviously, with the fat number on the site development costs, you're probably looking at around 450,000 on this property if you were to sell it. But then again, I ran the numbers out a little bit further. So you have two strategies. You can either flip, so you'd make about 400K on the deal, or you could sit and hold it, and you have rent escalation. So what happens is after year 5, you have 10%, excuse me, and another 10% in year 10. So the property value obviously continues to grow. Now, what's not included in this number is obviously you're paying down the principal. So what I did is ran an amortization schedule out for 10 years out. And if you were to actually hold the property, you'd have another 330K on top of the 950K. So you'd have about $1.3 million of equity in the deal after year 10. So you have essentially two strategies there. You just flip it or sit and hold on it and just build the equity over time. Last piece of this puzzle that probably just want to see is from a cash flow perspective. This is based on leveraging it 75%. There's a whole bunch of people that will do this type of deal, but I'll show you that in a second. Your annual cash flow, if you leverage it at 25%, you'd have about 51,000 annual, or monthly cash flow is 4,000, and cash on cash returns of about 10.5% or whatever. Now you can get this thing financed with a couple people. Just show you over here. So this is Marbella Finance. This is all they do. So he'll do deals with 80 to 100% equity depending on the deal, who's the tenant, blah, 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 blah. Another guys I worked with was Arc Trust out of New York. They are interested in anything. Pretty much the deal sizes are 1 to 10 million is what I saw. I mean, they say 50 million, but I didn't see them doing that many deals that large. They're really looking at, tenants from, actually here it is, from New York to Florida. So you can work with them. They'll give you 100% of the equity. So if the bank's requiring you to put 20% down, he'll put down 100% of the equity. And so you have no cash in the deal whatsoever. And all you have to do is develop it from start to finish. And then you guys split the profits at the end. Then there's another company. I mean, there's tons of these guys out there, but I'm just giving you an example. BMC Capital, they offer 100% financing as well. They take 0% of the profits, but you have to pay them 12 percentage points. So we'd have to run an analysis and see the cost benefit of it. BMC Capital is probably the best deal because you own the asset at the end. There's another company out there called Triple Net Loan or Triple Net Retail Leases, and what they do is they provide they provide a sale price at the end, but you have to sell it immediately at the end to them, and then they hold the asset. So long and short of it is, when you're done with it, if you look at all the numbers, end up with about 400K in the deal, give or take, obviously based on the sales price. So let me know what you guys think after you take a peek at the spreadsheet and look at the property. Thanks.